You ever get to the end of the day and you're just wiped, totally exhausted, but at the same time, you've got this weird nagging feeling that you didn't really do anything important? You were busy for sure, but what did you actually finish? Okay, let's get into it, because that feeling, it has a cause.
I mean, your day probably looked a little something like this, right? You answered a bunch of messages, stayed on top of things.
You definitely checked your emails, maybe tried to clear out that inbox a little bit.
And you probably fell down a rabbit hole researching something, opened up a ton of tabs.
And yet, nothing feels truly done. It's like you were just spinning your wheels. All that motion, but not a lot of actual progress.
Now, here is the most important part. If this sounds familiar, it is not your fault. You are not lazy. This isn't some personal failing. There's something else at work here, a kind of hidden force that's sabotaging your entire day.
And here it is, our villain. Multitasking. We've all been taught to think of it as a superpower, right? Something you proudly put on your resume. But I'm telling you, in this story, multitasking is the bad guy, and it's working against you every single day. So let's just see how this villain operates in the wild. I mean, does this timeline look a little too familiar? You sit down to work on something important, but ding, an email notification pops up. You tell yourself you'll just take a peek. That email reminds you of something else, so you open a new tab to Google it real quick. And next thing you know, 40 minutes have vanished, just gone. And that important task you sat down to do, it's still just sitting there, untouched. But here's where it gets kind of dangerous. This isn't just about losing time. There's a hidden cost. Every single time you switch away from a task without finishing it, you're sending a tiny little signal to your subconscious. And that signal says, hey, we don't follow through. And those little signals, they add up. Over time, they actually cause this huge shift inside of you. The story you tell yourself about who you are changes. You go from, I'm a person who executes, to, well, I'm a person who tries. And let's be honest, trying just doesn't feel as powerful as doing, does it? There's actually a name for this process: identity erosion. It's not some big, dramatic collapse. It's much quieter. It's like a slow, steady leak of your self-belief, and it happens every single time you scatter your focus. And believe me, your brain is keeping score. It's got a little internal checklist, and it notices every single time. Yep, started that, didn't finish. Switched tasks again. Avoided the hard thing. It's tracking this constant pattern of scattering your energy. The science behind this is called cognitive self-interruption. See, our brains just weren't designed to juggle a dozen open loops at once. Every time you switch your focus, your brain burns real mental energy just to reset. And when it gets tired from all that jumping around, what does it do? It seeks a cheap, easy hit of dopamine, which is why you suddenly find yourself scrolling your phone or grabbing a snack. The cycle just feeds itself. Okay, so that's the problem. If multitasking is the villain draining our confidence, how do we fight back? What in the world is the antidote to this constant distraction?
Well, here's the big secret, and it's completely backward from what most of us think. We think we need to feel motivated before we can act, but it's actually the other way around. Real, lasting confidence, it isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. It comes from completion. Just think about it for a second. The last time you truly finished something, I don't care how small it was, maybe it was just cleaning off your desk, or sending that one email you'd been putting off. How did you feel afterward? Clearer, lighter, more grounded? That feeling, that's the power of completion. It's literally stabilizing for your mind. Because every single completed task sends another powerful message back to your brain. This time, it's a good one. It's a single powerful thought: I follow through. You are reinforcing the idea that you are a person who gets things done. And this is the antidote. It's called identity reinforcement. It is the exact opposite of erosion. Instead of your confidence slowly leaking out, you are actively building it back up, one finished task at a time. So how do we actually put this into practice? You don't need a complicated productivity system. You don't need to download a new app. All you need is one simple number: 24. Here it is. It's called the 24-minute rule. And it is beautifully simple. Step 1, pick one single task. Just one. Step 2, set a timer for 24 minutes. Step 3, and this is the key, for those 24 minutes, you commit. You do not switch. No checking email, no scrolling your phone, nothing. And step 4, you finish. And here is why this simple little rule is so powerful. You start stacking small, tangible wins. They're real. And with each one of those wins, you start to trust yourself again. That internal narrative starts to shift back because you're proving to yourself over and over that you're a finisher. And finishing builds identity.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this choice. You can have a scattered mind, which is fragile, easily broken, and always looking for the next distraction. Or you can have a focused mind, which is powerful, resilient, and creates its own momentum.
So look, the point here is not to get overwhelmed trying to fix your entire life all at once. The goal is so much simpler than that. Just win one play. Because when you win one play, when you finish one 24-minute task, something amazing starts to happen. That confidence starts to come back. Your stress levels drop because you have actual proof that you can do it. And this creates this awesome positive feedback loop where you just naturally start to finish more and more. So I'll just leave you with this. Don't worry about tomorrow or next week. Think about right now. What is the one task, the one small thing you can commit to for just the next 24 minutes? What's the first play you're going to win?